Okay, so Linda's question, it's tomato plant, and we're looking at two genes. There's a gene for tall plants and short plants, that's two alleles, and there's a gene for hairy stems or smooth stems, another two alleles. Okay, the two genes are not linked, that's an important point. And what we've got is we've got a tall smooth plant which is crossed with a short hairy plant. Okay, and these are our parent phenotypes. So we've got a tall smooth plant and we've got a short hairy plant. And just before we go any further, if you want to identify the recombinants from this, it's really easy. A recombinant will be an offspring which is not tall and smooth and not short and hairy, but is a recombination of those things. So tall and hairy is a recombinant. And short and smooth is also a recombinant. Okay, so we're looking for short, tall, hairy or short and smooth offspring which will then be recombinants, and that's what the question's really after. It wants to know about the recombinants. But let's work through the question starting from the scratch. And we're going to look at the first thing, which are the genotypes of the parents. So we've got the tall smooth, which is the genotypes given to us in the question. And we write it like this because there's no linkage. You use a different notation if there's linkage. And short, hairy, the gametes. Now the gametes always get one allele from each gene. So for this individual here that's tall and smooth, the gamete can either have a capital T and a small h. I'll draw a circle around each gamete. Or it can have a small t and a small h. And there are no other gametes possible. For the short hairy, all the gametes can only inherit small t's, but they could have a capital H, that's a possible gamete, or it could have a small h, that's another possible combination of the alleles. Each gamete needs to have one allele from each gene, and here we've got the tall, short gene, and we've got the hairy, smooth gene. Now, we know there are two gametes from each parent, so we can do a simple 2 by 2 Punnett square like this, and we can put the gametes into the Punnett square. So this gamete I'll put down here, this one I'll put at the top here, and likewise for the other short hairy tomato plants. So the only problem is my Punnett square is too small, but we'll try and finish off. Two little t's here, a capital H. Always put the capitals first in the gene, but always keep the t's on the left and the h's on the right. Two small t's, two small h's. Then you've got capital T from the left, small t, capital H, small h, capital T, small t, and two small h's. So these are now the F1 genotypes. So what phenotypes will we have? Here's the possibilities. So we've got small t, capital T, small h. Other genotypes, we've got small t, small h, small h. We've got big T, big H, small h. And we've got big T, small t, and two small h's. Okay, there are F1 genotypes. And what's the phenotype for each one of these? That's the next important thing. So what we've got here on the left, if they're two small t's, it's going to be short, but it's going to be hairy because there's one capital H. Then we've got short and smooth. Then we've got, this one is tall and hairy. And this last one is tall and smooth. And the question asks, what would be the genotypes of the offspring which are recombinants? Okay, so these are the genotypes, these four genotypes here, and these are the phenotypes. Now, in the answer, it actually says that the recombinants have got different genotypes, but that's not true. It's actually that the recombinants have different phenotypes, different physical characteristics. So what we have to do is we have to work out, remember what the parents were. We had a tall and smooth parent. So the tall smooth is not a recombinant. That is not a recombinant because the parent was like that in the first place. Okay, tall and smooth. Short and hairy is not a recombinant because short and hairy was one of the parents before. So the recombinants, as we mentioned over here, are tall and hairy, short and smooth. And the only possible genotypes that you can use to get those are these two genotypes here. And that's how you get the answer. That's the long way to get the answer.